morning, everybody. How's it going today? It's so great to see such a great audience and so many people here today. So, a couple of years ago, when I was entrusted with leading Arduino innovation, I had a long chat with one of the Arduino co-founders, and he told me something that I still think about almost every day. What he told me is that Arduino DNA has never been and will never be about making the most powerful technology, making the most powerful hardware, making the most powerful tools, but it was all about making technology radically accessible to everybody and to anybody in the world. And when it comes to edge AI and when it comes to AI in general, one of the main challenges that we are seeing as the pace of innovation in this technology is so fast is that we get people risk of being left behind. We believe at Arduino that technology, and especially AI, should empower people, not intimidate people. But too often what we are seeing is that AI is locked down layers and layers of complexity that are brought in front of developers with the idea of making the latest and greatest available to everybody. Our mission at Arduino, though, is, has been from the very beginning, Arduino has turned 20 today, this year. And our mission from the very beginning has always been about enabling everybody to enhance their lives, by giving them access to digital technologies. And we believe, and I believe that, in the same way that for the last 20 years, we have, been on a journey to try and, really lower the access bar to electronics, to coding, and to education in STEM. The challenge for the next 5, 10, 50 years is to make AI usable, understandable, to make it valuable to anybody, whether they are in the classroom, they are in the factory floor, they are in a lab, they are in space, they are just using at home, using some product. When we come to the point is how we are solving this, the idea is to rely really on a bunch of pillars, right? Arduino is a platform that is built on simplicity and on some really core pillar. In the last 20 years, we built an amazing community, and today we count almost 35 million active developers across the world, and we are adding more than 1 million developers every year, especially in emerging countries. 1.5 million of these developers are actually students that every year through curricula are getting their first taste of the newer technologies, and of course. These students are more and more already used to having a smartphone, having devices at home, right? And so they are much more, the requirements that they have, right? And the need that is there to make them engaged. The bar is higher and higher for us. But still, we want them to understand the technology, not just to be mere users of it. And then enterprises, right? We have over 2,000 enterprises today that are actively deploying, either on their factory floor or in their product portfolio, Arduino technology as part of their product and their value proposition. So from hobbyists to industrial applications, we really, focus on building a set of tools and, tool chains and cloud and learning content with the goal of, creating one connected experience across, across the journey. What we built is, what I like to think as, modular, but at the same time cohesive, stack. Something that encompasses and spans, from hardware to firmware, from software to cloud, but includes, learning experiences and content and places where people can go, ask questions, share their knowledge, and be able to engage with each other. Is a set of tools that people can use to prototype, but at the same time is the same set of tools that people can use to scale and go in production with it. The result that we are aiming for is to enable people to go to be on a frictionless journey from the idea to the result of that idea, to really appreciating, benefiting from from the result of that. There is a concept that I think that explains that that I like to call abstraction without obfuscation. This is a core principle that I try to put in everything that we are doing at Arduino. The idea here is abstracting the complexity of the tools, but not hiding the logic behind those tools, right? One key element is that we want developers to always feel in control of what they are doing. Whether they are beginners, and so they get access to the the easy experience, but also when they get more expert and they want to get deep into what they do. They want to kind of open up right the hood and see exactly how the sausage is is made. What we want to do here is to build systems that are intuitive on one side, but something that people can open, can understand, and can even modify as deep as they want if they choose to do that, if they want to do that. And this is why almost everything that we do is released also as an open source project, right? Not only for enabling people to understand what's inside, but also to empower them to be able to take it from there, take full control to the point of being able to completely modify everything from the ground up. I talked about journey. When it comes to AI, to edge AI, the goal that we have is really to set people on a journey, right? And the journey of a developer through AI, we believe is based on 4 different steps. First is about trying AI. Everybody, I'm not talking about this room, of course, but everybody out there is talking about AI. Very few of them are actually using AI. Even fewer are understanding AI, and just a very small fraction of them is really doing AI for real. So the first step is trying. What we want is provide a way to present no code required experiments that people can just consume, try in order to really appreciate what what AI is about. But then we want them to understand AI, right? And so we want to make available for them, for example, pre-trained models, right, in order to really appreciate the output of AI, what the AI is capable for. But that's just half of the journey. The next step is to take control, right? We want them to be able to train AI, not necessarily starting from scratch, right? Starting from a pre-existing model, being able to either fine-tune it or improve the model, or provide them with all the tools that they need in order to feed their own data, in order to train a brand new model that is unique to them from scratch. The final step, which is also the most important step, is actually make something with AI, right? Arduino was originally one of the companies that created the maker movements, right? And we think about makers as kind of geeks in a basement, right? But makers are people who make stuff, right? Everybody's a maker. If you make stuff, you're a maker, right? Whether you are a scientist at NASA, you are an R&D director at automotive manufacturer, or you're just someone at home that just want to automate your shades. The thing about it's not just about the journey. It's about flattening the learning curve. It's about really scaffolding this journey in a way so that people can go along in the journey, keeping their confidence intact. There are a few pillars, right? And that's now go into the details of what we do in order to enable this vision, right? It's all based on 3 areas. One is about hardware, right, is really having a portfolio of AI and ML ready hardware that people can just get and buy without the need of building something from scratch. Is about the openness of being able to support not just the models and the technology about AI that we provide, but an array and an open ecosystem of models, AI frameworks, and so on. And then software and tools, right, that are cloud native and can really support users and developers throughout the entire journey. So let's take a look at each one of them in detail. The funny thing is that every time that I talk to someone that knows the Arduino name, every single one of them thinks that Arduino makes only one product, the old 8-bit Arduino Uno microcontroller, right? This is actually just a part of the portfolio of products that at Arduino we actually make and sell every year. And if you see, we kind of span across almost every MCU architecture that ARM has ever kind of published. And over the last 3 years, we actually went beyond MCU, and we actually started to ship MPU and even hybrid MCU and MPU devices, right? The thing is that the entire portfolio at Arduino is AI and ML capable. So it's not not anymore the times of that tiny but great microchip microcontroller, right? But it's really making available to everybody the hardware platform that is best suited to address the use case and to, at the end of the day, right, achieve the that vision that they have in mind. Whether they're doing TinyML or they want something more powerful that is Linux-based, we got it covered. And this is not just part of the portfolio, but it's also what we have today, right? You will see in the next few months, in the next couple of years, the pace of innovation at Arduino is just accelerating, and you will see new hardware and new form factors that will be, of course, more and more designed with, AI, generative AI, computer vision, audio inference, speech to text, in mind as, core scenarios. Then software and, specifically framework. Developers don't want, and we don't want them to be locked in proprietary tools. They don't want, and we don't want them to be locked into a single tool. And this is why this is just a very tiny example of some of the frameworks that we support at Arduino out of the box. Some of them are kind of open source frameworks. Some are commercial platforms. Some are kind of hybrid between the two. We create examples, so we create native integrations, so we create libraries, so that those frameworks can be used and supported out of the box. And we foster a community of people that want to actually bring into the ecosystem new frameworks and new technologies, right? I was kind of looking at the forum the other day, and there was someone that was kind of asking how they could add native support with a library to small language models in the Arduino ecosystem, and a couple of our engineers are supporting them to be able to do so. Right, and so the key here is that if developers bring their own workflow, we amplify them. If they are looking for a framework and a workflow, we support them and we provide with examples in order for them to understand what's best. Right? Whether it is an OpenMV framework to do computer vision of super tiny MCU-based camera, or they want something a little bit more refined on Edge Impulse that they want to take a base model and train with their data set in order to do face recognition, right, and recognize one specific person and not just that is a person. Then the third pillar, I would say literally last but not least, next generation cloud native developer tools. Let's face it, we don't live off of native applications. I don't know about you guys, but my life is running through Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge or Chromium, whatever is the browser of your choice. And the idea for us is really to provide and support and grow a vast array of tools that can be accessed. No, doesn't matter what type of computer, what type of machine, what type of form factor device you actually have. So from low-code to no-code tools to developer, to the ability to deploy the code from a single device to deploying at scale with fleet management and over-the-air updates if you have a fleet of devices that are deployed in the field, but also having devices that once are connected can be connected to the internet, can send data right to the cloud, not just for remote monitoring, predictive maintenance, and so on, but also to collect data, and the same data that is then used to retrain the AI, to fine-tune AI models, and so on, right? It's everything is brought together in not just in a single tool, right, but in an ecosystem, right, of systems that are seamlessly working together, and where developers can go, pick and choose what they need, and assemble them together. Part of these tools, talking about the AI, we are actually starting this year featuring something new, which is an AI assistant, right? And this is really AI doing AI, right? It gets a little bit recursive. We introduced AI assistant a couple of months ago, and is again embedded into the Arduino tool chain on the cloud. Arduino AI Assistant is I like to call it more of a coach than a co-pilot, and it's something that developers can use not just to ask for code that they want to be generated. It's not just vibe coding, but it's a fundamental tool for people to understand what they're doing. You can use the AI Assistant, take a snippet of code off of Stack Overflow, and have the AI Assistant explain what that code does. You can have your code that you wrote, it doesn't work, it doesn't compile. You can ask the AI Assistant to analyze the code, understand what's wrong, and fix it, and suggest fixes for you. You can have code, maybe you're not like me, a good developer, and you want it to be optimized, to consume less memory, or to be faster. You can ask the AI Assistant to rework your code in order to make it more efficient, or to make it more suitable for a specific platform. The idea is really thinking about it as a coach, to level up your embedded intelligence, if you will. Last thing. Why should you believe what I'm saying? That's, if you haven't asked this question, you should, and I'll actually ask this question for you. Well, Arduino is an open community. You can just take a look, go out there and, just Google, Arduino, Google Arduino forum, look what people are asking and what they are saying about the result of their work. Go on Project Hub, see the projects that people are doing. Just choose Edge AI or AI, and you will find every project that people have published. But also take the word of top professional developers and companies that have standardized their innovation on Arduino. One example is BMW Group. Right, we are quite big in automotive. Every single automotive manufacturer in Western automotive manufacturer is doing prototyping with Arduino. But BMW Group has standardized their innovation on our technology, and they really rely on the framework and the tools in order to standardize and really cut the innovation time, right, from the drawing board to production. One example of the way that they actually implemented Arduino and Edge AI, if you happen to buy a Rolls-Royce Phantom, and I really hope that you do, you will see that there are 1,000 LEDs in the ceiling, which is something that they call the starlight headlining. Right, and these lights are actually representing, the stars in the sky of the location where you are. And the whole thing is actually controlled through an Arduino device, or actually to Arduino design, and is kind of using an Arduino framework with an ML framework that I'm not able to disclose. Is they brought their own framework in order to being able to to provide this type of experience to every single developer. So we want AI for everyone, and we want it for real. This is not a slogan. This is a principle. This is a tenet that is what we operate with every day at Arduino. We mean it. We believe that AI must be inclusive, it must be educational, and more important of all, it must be empowering. At the end of the day, what we want for the ecosystem up there, for every single one of you, is put you in the condition that if you can imagine, you should be able to build it. Thank you.